A 13-year-old boy commits suicide after claiming the schools do nothing. Classmates of a 12-year-old girl rally against bullying. Bullying blamed for 11-year-old boy's suicide. Family says bullying leads to teen suicides. Parents of a 12-year-old who committed suicide say he was bullied. These are just some of the headlines and notes that have been pulled together about bullying this year. Bullying is an epidemic, and the fact that the schools continue to treat it as anything less than an epidemic is terrible. These children may have remained silent, or they may have told someone, but the fact remains that whatever is being done to curb bullying is a far cry from what needs to be done. Many schools instill the idea of a bully-free zone, and that to me is laughable. Putting a sign up makes you part of the problem, not the solution. Children can be mean, and they can say hurtful things, and when they are reported at best, they are discussed and talked to, and then forgotten about. A parent should not be forced to bury their child because they are met their end of suicide or tragedy. It is worse to think that bullying remains on the rise and that children each day to continue not to be able to defend themselves. The idea of zero tolerance is widespread, and a child can no longer defend themselves from their bully because they will be punished for the simple act of standing up and not taking it anymore. A child becomes a victim when others remain silent, when kids fear retaliation from their peers, and when they tell you that nothing will change. My daughter told me today that nothing is going to change and that bullying will never stop, and what worries me is that she is right. Certainly it has gone on long before us and it will go on long after, but how long are our school boards going to turn a blind eye to the problem that comes from bullying? Man up, will Dad'll say to his son, and to stand up for his dad, he'll let it roll off his back. He'll pretend those words don't hurt, and in the end he'll travel down a darker road because he had to be tough, because he felt that people would think him weak for not wanting to be picked on. It's just words, some parents will say. Words leave deeper scars than any physical violence ever can, believe me. Words can haunt you and shape you because they are so easy to say every day. Maybe I should kill myself. You know what? Maybe I will. That's what comes when we say that there are just words. That's what comes when your daughters and sons are called bitches and bastards. When you hear them say these things and they ask to handle it themselves, let them be the men and women they will become, but stand by them. It is stupid to let them walk alone and yet the schools do it. They talk and tell them that they will get to the heart of the problem, but the statistics do not lie. 28% of students 12 to 18 report being bullied at school, and 47% of high school students say they told nobody at all. This trend becomes more pronounced as students get older, starting at 18% at third grade, all the way up to that 47% at high school. One person found in her study that a simple message of bullying is not tolerated is not likely to be very effective, and that effective anti-bullying programs need to focus on the bystanders who can step in and stop the behavior. All too often we see video of violence, and as adults we often wonder why no one steps in to help, why one kid doesn't step up and protect another kid. It is because of the fear of retaliation. It is because zero tolerance says you get zero chances. If my daughter stands up to protect her friend physically or verbally, she'll just be punished as the person bullying her. In what world is that right? Bullying is an epidemic that needs to be taken seriously. It is the black plague of our future generations. It leads to the inevitable trauma and rise of mental health issues plaguing youth today. It is not the internet. It is not the poison of televisions. Most children know the difference between the real and the fake. It is the harassment of their fellows that leads them down this dark path. It is our job to stand by them and to hold the torch and make sure that the demons that plague them do not get close by teaching them how to fight those demons properly. It is on us, the parents, to teach our child, if they are a bully, how wrong it is to bully someone and to do it properly, to teach that there is a consequence for every action because that is real life, that is truth. One punishment does not fit all crimes, and the defender should never be the victim. I will shake the hand of a child that stands up to any other child because they were tired of witnessing bullying. When does it become a problem? How many headlines push back to the second page story of the national news do we need to hear? Do we need to see before we realize it needs to stop? Before it becomes the national news, before we don't care about elections or officials and we wonder when our children will stop being victims of bullying? When does it become a problem? When do we no longer hear about the 13-year-olds who commit suicide? Or the 28% of students who say nothing? That 28% should be 0% because bullying leads to death, because bullying leads to trauma, because bullying leads to a lifetime of not being sure of yourself. When does it become a problem?